right, it is 6:00 p.m. on Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, and we are at the Merrill City Council Chambers for the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting. Chair Mike Kaler may be joining us remotely, but as of now is excused. And I will call the meeting to order. So the first order of business is to approve the check summary reports for December and January that were provided in the packets.
I will make that motion to approve the check summary reports.
And I will second that motion. Any discussion?
I had all my questions answered earlier. Thank you.
All right. Likewise. So hearing no further questions, all in favor of approving the reports, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And motion carries. Item number 3, consider approving the minutes from the previous meeting of January 28th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
And I will second that motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, I would all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So motion carries. The minutes are approved. General agenda items for consideration. Item number 1, discuss and consider the 2025-2026 proposed maintenance contract for Bomar Appraisal Services. I don't know if Rod or Emily, which of you wants to elaborate on this any?
I think it's gone up $2,500 in the last 6 years. I don't think is excessive. I think he did a good job for us in a tough situation this last reevaluation. Although we had plenty of feedback from it, I think he did a very good job. I guess I would move to approve.
In the 2025 budget we adopted, it was $29,500 is what we had, the number I had in there, so it's $1,500 short. But we'll just keep track of that. Do a budget amendment if necessary.
If I could make a comment, I've worked with a few appraisers, assessors over the years, and Bomar does a wonderful job. Very impressed. He's very responsive.
All right.
Well, I would make a motion to approve the proposed maintenance contract for Bomar Appraisal.
Does this need to be forwarded to council then? That is
Make a recommendation to the council to approve it.
Okay. All right. I will second that recommendation to forward to council for approval. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? None. All right. Item number 2, discuss and consider advertising for the city attorney position. Rod, I'll let you elaborate on that again.
We have placed the RFP out, requests for proposals for legal counsel, which would be outside services, and we've kind of laid that out. That was approved a couple months ago. In discussion, Mayor and I and a couple other people have looked at it and thought it would be useful to put it out as a position, the city attorney position, and see what kind of feedback we get, response we get. One way or another, if we don't get any RFPs back and we have someone that applies for the position, we have something to consider. And if the opposite way, if we don't get anybody apply for the position, then at least we have a comparison of the two. Besides the price, that'll be probably the ultimate decision that we have to make if we have a qualified candidate and request or a response to the RFP. But I think this at least gives us an option if we put this out there.
All right. You want to make a motion to?
I'll make a motion to move forward with advertising for the city attorney's position.
And I will second that motion. The only question I have is, does it have the same timeline so we get them both back at the outside and the
We'll
inside?
see what kind of response we have. Right now, we left it as will remain open until filled.
Okay.
We'll see if we have anything back, and we may, with the RFPs, we may have to, take all 30 days to review as far as if we have any responses.
Okay.
And I think in the past, this wasn't something that needed to go to council. It was P&F decision.
Okay, all right. All right, then, so you make a motion to amend your motion to approve it?
I thought I did make that motion, didn't I? To
Okay,
just approve
all
it?
right.
Yeah.
All right. All right, and then I seconded it, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and those opposed. All right, then we will go ahead and advertise that position. Item number 3, to discuss and consider wording for a funeral leave policy. Rod?
I didn't bring this to
I
you.
did.
Okay,
Defer to
Steve,
on this.
whoever
Steve?
wants to elaborate.
It was brought to my attention from another alderperson. The grandparents are included, but spouses, grandparents are not included. So and I got the school districts for a teacher, and then I asked Renee Krieger from the county what the county's does. The county pretty much mirrors ours. Rod had a situation earlier in his career here where he was denied that others have. They can use a different type of leave though, can't they? Or-
Yeah, they can use comp time, use
Right.
personal time or vacation time.
Right, so I mean, there is options for it, it's just, if you wanna include it or not include it, I said that I would bring it forward to the Personnel and Finance Committee.
So our actual policy itself is not included in what's in the packet.
Oh,
Is this the
Yeah,
school
the-
policy and
Right.
Lincoln County
Yeah,
policy?
the city's policy wasn't included in our packet, so.
Okay, that's my fault.
I guess my 2 cents of it, working for the school district as well, is I know they've been a little lenient at times for it. But with their policy and the way they kind of handle it, and I will just take myself as an example, I do not speak for anyone else. But when my great-grandfather had passed away last year, they gave me 1 day instead of the 3 that they normally do. They kind of take it base by base, and obviously a great-grandfather, I'm only going for the funeral, which happened to be on a Friday at noon. But if it, say they would have done it on a Saturday or Sunday, I wouldn't have taken a day off anyway. So that doesn't, I think as long as we kind of follow that principle, I would have no problem with having in-law grandparents be included in this. But
In the 1 day.
it's just a 1 day. Yeah, I mean, if you're not helping with settling their affairs and all of that, then there's no reason to take 3 days. I'm sorry, as someone who has lost his mother already at my young age and has had to deal with those 3 days, I mean, it's, yeah, if you're not dealing with their affairs, then what is, yeah, as take your funeral and deal with that. So I don't know what your opinion is on it.
I guess my opinion is I would be okay with going with something that mirrors what the Lincoln County has as far as, the in-laws and even the 3 days, because if you do have to travel someplace to go to the funeral, that type of thing. But I wouldn't elaborate to what the school has with the aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews and all those various.
Well, and you get into step and foster and.
Well, it does
Um,
say step in the bottom of Lincoln counties, so
Right,
definitely.
where I don't know that we,
Ours doesn't have that currently.
no. Ours, as far as the extended family, includes aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. There's no,
It includes niece and nephew, but not aunt or
it,
It does.
aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. The immediate family is child, stepchild, spouse of children, stepchildren, parent, step-parent, grandchildren, grandparents, and great-grandparents, brother, sister, mother-in-law, father-in-law, or any person who has resided with the employee immediately preceding the person's death. So you don't get into the foster and, But
Then I don't know why we need to even address this. It sounds like we've covered everybody
No,
and their
it-
uncle.
it doesn't cover grandparents, in-law, spouses, grandparents. And that's where I think the immediate,
That's the one thing that's
Grievance.
missing?
Right.
And I mean, that's where I'm saying, I mean, if they're not settling their affairs, then I, just as a
the one day.
best practice is 1 day. I mean,
Or you could say at the discretion of the administrator.
yeah, I mean, and for the most part, I would hope it is at the discretion of the administrator and,
Well, it's defined as immediate and extended, so I mean, there's the difference is the 3 day versus the 1 day.
right.
And I guess as a step, I think it should be 1 day if we do that.
I guess I have some mixed opinions and thoughts on it, so I'm gonna just try not to not to say what they really are at the moment. I guess, I don't know, I'm not opposed to including grandparents in there, and again, yeah, do they need the 3 days paid off? I don't know, because it could be at the discretion, if, like I said, if there's travel involved, yes, if there's not travel involved, well, 1 day's sufficient. You have stepchildren that might be living right in your home, so, to say.
And that is included. I mean, when you look at spouse, child, stepchild, and it is included in our policy. The grandparents-in-law has been the big hang-up over the years, and I guess in my case, I was closer to my wife's grandparents than I was to mine. Mine were dead before a couple of them before I was born, and I mean.
I would not be opposed to adding the grandparents-in-law. If that's the one that's missing, then I'm not opposed to adding that
Just
in.
add it to the 1 day.
Yeah, and I mean, otherwise, our policy seems to be working out okay besides just the in-law, correct?
Yes, and we do have to kind of watch, some people think that they get a day off, and if it's on Saturday, they can take Thursday off.
Mhm.
And it's hard for us to police that, but I would hope everybody would be upfront and honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
If they need the day off, yes, if not just, my aunt died in Hawaii, well, I'm not going to the funeral, but can I have a day off? It's,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I would say to that, yeah, you can, as long as it's your own PTO and comp time.
no, but you'd have to go.
I
The
know,
point is, yeah.
but if they're saying, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just going to take the day off, okay, yeah, that's your comp time in PTO. So I would make a motion to add the in-laws, grandparent in-laws to the 1 day funeral leave.
I will second that motion.
Would that include great-grandparents-in-laws? Because there's the
Sure.
net question,
We,
too.
we can add the grandparents-in-laws.
And what if you're your own grandpa and you decide you're gonna go to your own funeral, I guess?
I'm not going to say what came to my mind right there, LaDonna. I'm not going to say it.
Merrill, not Gleason.
Mm,
Is the second okay with that, Ed?
yes, that's fine.
Oh, hold on, I just want to make sure I have this correct. So it's a motion to add a 1 day funeral leave for great-grandparents-in-law and grandparents-in-law to our policy.
Yes.
Okay. And that goes to council.
Mhm.
All right.
So now we got to
Do
explain
do
ourselves.
we need to vote on this yet after we both first and seconded it? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Let's see.
What a
next.
world we live in.
It's kind of what I was thinking. Things used to be so much simpler. Item number 4, update on city investments. I'm assuming this is Emily.
Yep. So in the packet, I just put together a list of a few items that I want to start doing in terms of city investments, just making sure that we're, investing all of the city funds that we can, making every dollar work for the city. First thing was sort of low-hanging fruit. We have a lot of bank accounts, the 19 bank accounts, and some of them are not interest-bearing accounts. So I want to consolidate our money into interest-bearing accounts and just making sure that we're, keeping an eye on our interest earnings and making every dollar, like I said, every dollar work for us. The second thing was looking at the local government investment pool, LGIP. That is a state program that uses like any surplus balances from the state of Wisconsin, any state agencies, also the WRS, any retirement funds invested in this pool. So we're just pooling our cash into all of the other money and earning interest at a higher rate then because we have more purchasing power. This is a pretty common investment tool because it's safe for municipalities to use. It's run by the state. It's they have very regulated and they invest in things that are because there are some specific rules about what municipalities can invest in and what they can't. So the LGIP is a safe investment because they're following all of the state rules. Right now the interest there is 4.25%. At Incredible Bank, we're only making 3.25%, so we're going to be making more interest right off the bat. And it's pretty liquid. It's 24 hours. Once you request your money, you get that. So it's not like me signing any commitments or anything like that. So that's a good, easy way to increase our investment earnings. The third thing was looking at short-term investments like laddered CDs or money market accounts. This is going to take a little bit more work on my part, just making sure that we are looking at our cash flow and what funds we need and making sure that we're staggering those investments so that the funds are available when we need them. But again, that's another way that you can maximize your interest earnings because you know what your interest is going to be on a laddered CD so that when you're budgeting, we're going to have this ladder coming due or the CD so we can budget for that income coming in. So it's just like known revenue.
Are those typically fixed rates then?
Yep. So I think just to be a good customer to our community, we would go to Nicolay and Incredible first and see what they could do for us. And then just do due diligence and look around and make sure that we're getting the best rates that we can. Then the fourth thing I want to look at is explore Ellers investments. This is a newer branch of Ellers that they're working on, and they are essentially doing what LGIP does, but for municipalities. So you're pooling your money with Ellers, and they're, every day looking at the market, moving things around. So we don't have time to do that sort of stuff to be selling things and moving money, but they have full-time people dedicated to that, and I think they have over, like I said in here, $2.5 billion right now. So it's just sort of, you're capitalizing on their returns because they're a big customer, and the banks do things for them that they wouldn't do for Merrill because we're not big enough. So, Ellers does charge some fee. It is 0.25%. And that would come off of any of our interest earnings. So it wouldn't be like we're paying them, it would just be reducing what we're getting by 0.25%. So I just started my initial conversations with Ellers, just trying to get some more information, and I think that when I get more information, I'll bring that back and see if it's something that we're interested in doing.
So if we make $10, they make 25 cents?
0.25%? Is that 25 cents?
I'm kind of...
That's two and
Do-
a half.
Two and a half cents? Oh, so we have to make $100 in order for them to make 25
Yeah,
cents.
they gotta manage a lot of money.
That, I'm assuming, is kept separate and distinct from the TIF money, that those are two different entities almost, or...
Yes, so we use fund accounting, so we in our accounting system, keep all of our pots of money separate. We would, give them to Ellers, and Ellers keeps utilities separate from government dollars, so that would be, we'd have two accounts if we went with Ellers. We'd have one for utilities and one for general government.
Okay. Okay, another silly question. Can municipalities invest in gold and silver or metals or anything like that?
No, I don't think we can. It's spelled out in state statutes.
Okay.
Can't do commodities. Well, I will say, I really like Ellers. I've worked with them for 10 years now, and I feel like they are experts in what they do, and investing is something new, but again, they sort of have the Ellers name behind them. And the thing that I think they would really bring to the city is that they would help us with the cash flow analysis, helping us look at exactly, because they have all of our debts, they know when all of our TIDs are gonna close, they can help us make like a 3-year investment plan that is just, I think would be, having them help us with that would be beneficial for us, would do a better job.
So are you thinking just asking for opinion at this point, are you thinking that we should do one, all, or just multiple of these options? Kind of what is, like, I know you put all these options on the
Yeah.
table, but.
I think we should do all of them.
I'm not opposed to you finding out more information and then coming back with it, because
I'm not either at this point.
I think it's good to look at our options and
And I
make the
think
most
if we were
of it.
gonna work with Ellers, we have a resolution or something, sort of spelling out our relationship with them, not just being clear about what we expect.
Right.
And it is part of Emily's job and responsibility. She can make those determinations, I think, outside of the Ellers Fund, to move the money around to make it work for us the best she can. That is part of her job.
Mhm, mhm.
And I apologize that it took me a year to get to this. It's been on the list of things to do. I would like, we could be making more interest earnings, and so I finally had some time to sit down and look at it, so I'm excited to report back and see how we do.
Well,
No, we
just looking
appreciate
at it, 19 accounts does, I don't know about you, LaDonna, but that seems like an awful lot to me.
Yeah, I don't know if you have to pay fees on all of them or not, but yeah, I think anything that you can do to improve things is certainly welcome. All right, anything else along that subject line? Emily?
No.
Okay. All right, then we will move on to the monthly reports. Monthly report from Mayor Haas.
Be happy to answer any questions.
See, you made the 5-point limit.
You went over.
I wasn't feeling the best, and the city clerk was on me to get my report in. So.
I would say there's 6 things on here, so.
There is a lot more, but I just haven't been keeping track.
We know,
of it.
you're busy, we know you are. Okay. City Administrator's report, any questions or anything you want to elaborate on?
Short and sweet.
Okey-doke. Monthly report from Finance Director Lee.
Any questions?
It's a page turner, that's all.
Actually, I had a question down on the cash and investment change, or the new summary that you've come up with.
Yeah.
And I think I like the fact that it is all on one page. I'm just curious, because you have a total on page 155, the total is the 17,293,000. But when you go down to the old format of the report, there's that very last line that says pooled cash control of 10 million added to that, so there's a total of 27 million. Did you keep that out separately for a reason, or?
Pooled cash is, in accounting, it is if you're gonna move money between funds, you have to use pooled cash to balance it. So it's not actually cash, it's money that's transferring between funds. So that's why I thought this report is a little bit misleading, because it's counting pooled cash in your investments and income. Whereas this, the report that I provided, this summary with the 17 million, that's our bank totals. That's what we have.
Well, 3 years I've been waiting for an answer to what that pooled cash line was, so thank you. I appreciate that.
So pool cash isn't actually cash.
No, you're using it to move between funds.
Interesting. Guess you learn something new every day, huh?
We're
Yeah.
not cutting checks or anything, are we? Sorry.
Don't joke about that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, Jesus.
All right, thank you, Emily, I appreciate that. City Attorney Hayden, any questions for him or anything to add to his, or Anything you want to elaborate on?
No, it's been an interesting month of municipal court, interesting characters, but all is well.
So the Tom Hayden fan club is still going
Oh,
strong.
we're still going strong. A couple of new members we got, yeah. Just thrilled with.
Well, just think, the last one's coming up soon.
Yeah.
All right, and monthly report for City Clerk Anderson Malm. Any questions for her?
Have none.
Strong voter turnout for the primaries, I see, huh?
It was horrible. It was a very, very long day. Hopefully April we'll have a little bit more traffic.
I'll be honest, I didn't get out because I didn't really want to leave the house that day, so. But
Yeah, it was a very long day for the workers, but like I said, April, I've already received a number of absentee ballots for people that are gonna be out of the area, so I've already received more absentee ballots for April than I did for February.
Or then voted in February, or?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay.
I'm sure that'll get close.
All right, and municipal court report. Any questions on that?
None. from me.
All right, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to put the reports on file.
So moved.
I will second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? None? None? Okay. Then it looks like the next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 25th at 6 PM.
Works for me.
Then we have a closed session we're going into.
Have Tom read it.
Sure.
Go for it, Tom.
The committee may convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 1985, Sub 1, Sub C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility to discuss a current/retired employee's sick leave funds.
Make a motion to go into closed session.
And I will second that motion. All in favor, say
I
aye.
I think we need a roll call, don't we?
Sorry. Mr. Meyer,
Aye.
Ms. Hermanick?
Aye.
Okay.
I guess that means we're going into closed session.
Yep.